Today, we're going to be building everyone's favorite app, a to-do list embedded in ChatGPT. It's going to make use of OpenAI's newly released apps, SDK and MCP, or Model Context Protocol, to render widgets and information directly in a chat window. Let's get started. Let's get started building our to-do list in ChatGPT. It's going to be a widget that I can actually interact with embedded in my chat. A couple days ago, it was OpenAI's Devs Day, and they announced this apps SDK that allows us to actually build widgets inside ChatGPT. I'm just going to use MCP, that's going to be Model Context Protocol, to do that. So I am going to use Gadget, and I'm actually going to use a Gadget template that I have. And the advantage to using this template here, just going to paste in a link. This link will be in the video description. I'm going to create my new app here. I'm just going to call this my to-do list ChatGPT. The advantage to using Gadget while it spins up my new app is I'm getting production grade infrastructure. So I'm going to be developing on the cloud. It's going to be a live app. I don't have to do any stitching of local tools together. I get a Postgres database. It's a serverless node backend powered by Fastify under the hood. And the advantage is that we've also, you can see here, we've got mcp.ts. So we've gone ahead, we've handled OpenAI's OAuth 2.1. It's all managed. If I open routes, got some OAuth routes, got the well-known routes required. So I'm gonna be able to go ahead and start building right away in ChatGPT, which is pretty groovy. And we've set up that MCP server. I'm just gonna close the AI assistant. Now, something I'm gonna do that you won't have to do is I'm just gonna plop in an environment variable. This is just something's going through the build, but I want to shoot the video. You shouldn't have to go through that step. We do also have getting started steps in the README here. And that's what I'm going to go through first, is just getting set up in ChatGPT. So I have my app set up. Like I said, it is live on the internet. I have my app URL here. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and copy my URL. Let's get started right away, and then I'll start walking through the template, and then I'll build a to-do list. So if I go to my settings here in ChatGPT, I do have a pro plan. If I go to apps and connectors, you see I may have done this once or twice already, and go create, I can just call this my to-do list. I'm not going to explain what it does, but I will add my Gadget app URL. I'm going to want to add the MCP endpoint. One other thing I'll want to do, -- development, because this is for my development environment. So my new Gadget app, I have development. I haven't deployed anything to production yet. If this were my prod environment, I could leave off this -- development, but we need that for now. It is OAuth authenticated. Gadget has it built in, so I don't need to worry about it. So I can actually just go ahead and create my to-do list app right away. It won't be a to-do list at this time. It's just gonna be a little hello world app. But what this will do, it'll authenticate with Gadget and OpenAI. So here we go. This is actually my Gadget app. I'm just going to SSO with Google. And then it will do the OpenAI auth dance. So yes, want to connect. And there we go. My to-do list is connected, and we can see my current actions say hello. So there is a hello world message. So if I, in my new chat, go ahead and add my to-do list and say, I'm gonna be very explicit, use my app to say hello. What ChatGPT will do is under the hood, there's that available say hello tool call, and it will call my tool. And as you can see here, I will always allow for this conversation. I've had some issue with scroll bars for these widgets, so they'll all have little scrollers. I figured it's just worth it to make the video and figure out the CSS later, but you can see this is hello world, and this is actually a widget I am rendering from my app. So let's go take a look at our template now. We are installed on ChatGPT. Like this is our app is set up. Widget.html is what we're drawing. It's a div, hello world, change the color for some style, and then we're just printing some stuff out from event listeners provided by OpenAI. So that's it. We are set up, and we're actually good to start building our custom app. So take a quick tour through this template. Like I mentioned, OAuth is handled. We have our OAuth routes. These are Fastify routes. I'm not going to walk through these right now because it is all handled. If you are interested, you can go ahead and fork the template and check out OpenAI's auth docs. Same with well-known. They are just auth routes. The more interesting routes are our MCP routes. So like I said, there is an MCP.ts file. Let's start here because this is where we're actually creating our MCP server that maintains a connection with ChatGPT and helps facilitate our tool calls with our, renders our widget and then additional tool calls as well. So we're standing up a new MCP server. The packages you need, gadget at the backend is serverless node. So there's a package.json. The packages you needed will be installed. You can also install whatever additional packages you want. All I'm doing, standing up my MCP server. We are keeping track of our sessions. We'll come back to that in a bit when we take a peek at the routes. Reading my widget.html file. Now, a lot of ChatGPT's examples in their docs, in the app's SDK docs, they're using React and they're bundling and then uploading that bundle. We're actually working on a Vite plugin. Our React front ends here in the web folder are built on Vite or bundled with Vite. So we'll have support for that very soon. This template and the instructions will change. I'm sure I'll shoot another video once that's working as well. For now, I'm just using plain old HTML, CSS, and a little bit of JavaScript. What we're doing next is we're using this MCP server and we're going to register a tool call called say hello. This is what we saw here in ChatGPT in our settings. Say hello is there, print a hello world message. So if I go back to my app and check this out, I can see, print a hello world message. And then all of the meta information I need to include is also visible here. So a couple important things to note is that the output template, this URI that I'm defining down in this resource is how I am referencing my actual widget. You see my HTML content is actually tied to this resource right here. These are just the messages that will appear in ChatGPT. Hello has been said. Hello has been said. So this is while the tool call is being made, and this is after it's complete. And this allows this tool call to be made from the widget. It's probably not necessary in this case because I'm not actually calling it from the widget itself, but I'm leaving it in for now. And then the final bit to registering a tool after kind of the information and the name is a async function. If I need to pass any information, like if I want to pass hello world to my widget and then accept it dynamically, like have more dynamic content, I could go ahead and return it as structured content. It could be like copy, hello world. And that would be piped through to a parameter available in my actual widget. OpenAI has some window dressing is what I will call it, that allow you to access these parameters. We're going to take a look at that when we look at widget.html for my to-do list. So anyways, this function is how I pass content from my backend through to my widget as part of my MCP tool call. Then I have my resource definition. This is my actual widget. So like I said before, this URI, super important because this is how I am actually referencing my template in my tool call. I need this MIME type. We're using Skybridge here, and then HTML content. This is just my parsed widget file. So this is what we're gonna give you out of the box. This is how we're drawing that hello world. And like I said, my widget is very basic right now. So this MCP server, we've got a get and post / messages MCP routes defined. How MCP works, a very quick overview, is first a get call is going to be made. It's going to go ahead, set up a transport and a server, and it's going to use that sessions object I pointed out earlier to kind of manage these things and tie them all together. So we are just keeping that in memory right now. And then we are connecting our server to our transport. And then any additional tool calls coming from our MCP client, it's going to be ChatGPT in our case, are going to be made through this post messages route. And all this is doing is using sessions. It's going to go ahead and grab that session. It's getting the transport that we have tied to that session, and it's going to handle incoming post messages. So this is all just MCP boilerplate, really. This is just kind of how we're handling the message passing from the client to our MCP server here in my gadget project. I'm not an MCP expert. I will include a link to the docs in the video description, but this is the very quick overview, is that we've got that get call that is persistent, and then post messages that come in actually use the transporter that get call opened and pushes things to our client, pushes the results of tool calls. Let's go ahead and actually start building our app. So the nice thing about Gadget, like I mentioned, we do have a database built in. So we do have some OAuth data models created. I can go ahead and check out the schema. This is just like my Postgres table and columns on my table. I'm gonna create a model for my to-do items. Just call it to-do. Each of my to-dos is going to have an item. This is just gonna be a string. It's gonna have an is complete. We'll make that a Boolean. I think that's fine for now. And this is my data model. This is the table. There's no data in it yet, but I will have data soon. My table in Postgres is built. So I'm actually ready to start creating my to-dos. I can start building my widget and my MCP tool calls to go ahead and add to-dos and then mark them as completed. That's kind of all we're gonna be handling here. So let's start adding our MCP tool calls. If I go to mcp.ts, I am first going to replace my hello world with some to-do list widgets. So I'm not gonna worry about my widget until the very end. I'm gonna start just with this MCP layer. So let's go ahead and call this list to-dos. Title, list, list to-dos. Description, hold on for this one. This will list all of my to-dos. Mind-blowing stuff. My output template, I'm just gonna leave it as widget.html. If you have multiple templates, you can reference different templates, but just for simplicity, I'm not gonna change the name of my single HTML file, so we'll leave it as is. It means I can leave the parsing the same as well. Invoking, we can update this message. We can, prepping your to-do items. And once it is invoked and my to-do items have been returned to my widget, I can go ahead and, your list of shame has been returned. Perfect. The to-do list only grows. It does not get shorter. And I am going to make this widget accessible. Once again, I don't think it's necessary for this list to-dos call, but I will leave it in anyways. And now I need to go ahead and return my actual to-dos. Like if I already have to-dos created in my database, I want to return them as part of this structured content. And this is what's going to be fed in as input to my widget. So on Gadget, there is a built-in API client. So when I went ahead and created my to-do, not only did it create my schema, my table in Postgres, but it created a CRUD API that I can call right away. So you see it's create, delete, update actions. These are serverless functions. They are completely extensible. So if I want to add custom logic in here, I can. I don't want to add custom logic, but while I'm talking about it, I do want to make the default value for my isComplete field false. Let's go back to this. So because we're auto-generating that API, I can go ahead and use an API client that is created. I'm already importing it here from the Gadget server package. And we can just go const to-dos equals await api.todo.find many. Find many, come on now. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about pagination. Pagination is built into this API. I'm just gonna get the first page. The default page size will be 50. You can request up to 250, but if you have a to-do list of 250 items, there may be other issues other than paginating through it that you need to worry about. Let's go ahead, structured content. I'm just gonna go ahead, return all of my to-dos. I can also update this content. Now this content is just a string that is passed to the model. So if I go ahead and do something like the to-do list, and I just map over those, to-dos.map. To-do, now each to-do has an item. Item, that's gonna be my string. It should be a string anyways. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and join all of these. Perfect. Nope. I'm using a Windows keyboard on a Mac, so I'm gonna be typing some funny characters now and again. I don't need a semicolon there. Perfect. And just as a note, I'm building here in the gadget editor. We do have a CLI tool, GGT, so you can pull your project down to your local machine and use whatever local editor you want. Cursor, Zed, Claude Code, Codex, whatever tool you like to use to develop, you can use it to build your gadget apps as well. So this is good. This is my list to-dos tool call. I'm happy with it. It should fetch my to-dos from my gadget database and return them to my widget. Let's go ahead and modify our resource now. So I'm just gonna call this to-dos. Once again, this URI, it's all just widget. I'm gonna leave it as widget. Update the title, not titties, inappropriate, to-dos. And this is a ChatGPT widget for my to-do list. Perfect. Everything else can stay the same. I don't need to modify this. Now, I need to add 2 more tool calls. I need to be able to add to-dos to my list and mark to-dos that already exist as completed. So that means I can go ahead, MCP server.register tool. I'm gonna give this a name, add to do. And I am gonna go ahead, let's give it a title, add a to do. I'm gonna give it a description, add a new to do item to my list. I need an input schema. So this is gonna be the input that is passed in to this tool call. You use Zod, I almost said Zed. Zed is an editor. Zod, already imported, included in this app to go ahead and define your input as well as output schemas if you have output schemas. So I am gonna go ahead and just go item z.string. Perfect. That is all the input schema I need. Now this one, I do need to add a meta schema to make my tool call accessible for my widget. So I'm gonna go ahead and go OpenAI / accessible and mark that as true. So now this tool call will be able to be made from my widget. Finally, we're gonna go ahead and add that async call. In this case, we're gonna have an item as a parameter. And what I want to do here is go ahead and add a to-do to my database. So I can go const to-do equals await API to-do. Once again, using that same API client, this time we're going to call the create action that was spun up for me by default. And I'm just going to pass in my item that matches my field name. So this will actually go ahead and create the item in my gadget database and return it. And then I am simply going to use it as output. And let's go ahead and return this. So what this will do is return this content to the LLM again. So we'll add a type, will just be text. It is text. Look at that. And then we'll set the text to, I'm just gonna JSON.stringify this output object. Output. I don't know what that B character is, but I'm going to be typing it all day. Finally, structured content. So this is content that's actually going to be returned through the tool call. I am not going to make my add to do optimistic in my front end widget. So returning the structured content is important so I can actually append this new to do to my list in my widget. So I'm going to go ahead and just pass this back. That's all I need to do there. Don't add the little b. Perfect. This is my add to do tool call. So now I should be able to add to-dos from my widget. I'm gonna just go ahead and copy paste this whole thing. And instead of add to-do, I want to complete a to-do. And this will be marking a to-do as completed. So let's just go complete a to-do, update the description to actually finish a to-do item on my list. I'm not gonna pass in an item. It's not gonna be like a text. This will just be a to-do ID in this case. Still a string though, and still accessible from the widget. So I can update this to to-do ID. In this case, I don't want to create a new to-do. I want to update. And I want to use my to-do ID to do it. And in this case, the update I'm making, I'm just going to be updating my is complete to true. So I'm going to mark that to do as completed. This will all remain the same. I'm just going to pass this back as structured content. My is completed, I am going to be optimistic in my widget. So I'm not actually using the return payload. I should, just in case it fails here, and I can go ahead and resolve any discrepancies between my widget and my backend, but I'm not going to do it for this simple app just to keep it easy. So we're good. These are all the tool calls I need. I've built my MCP server and I am ready to go ahead and update my widget now. I'm just gonna go ahead and copy a bunch of code for the widget and then walk through it because it's mostly HTML and CSS, 200 lines. I'm gonna skip the style. I'm just using a style tag here. Let's skip it. Our actual component is just this. It's a div with a form and a unordered list. So not a lot going on here. We're going to dynamically add to-dos to the list. The interesting stuff is in my module script. So this is my JavaScript. So OpenAI has added context to the window in this embedded iframe. We're working within an iframe in ChatGPT. And we can access things like widget state, which is actually a persistable state. You can see we're going to be writing to this widget state. So on a browser refresh, if I go to a different chat and come back, the state of my widget will be maintained, which is pretty nice. I can continue where I left off. It also contains the ability to go ahead and make these tool calls. So this is how I'm going to be calling my add to do tool call, as well as my, did I pass it? Yes, my complete to do tool call right there. There is extra context. This tool output is important. So this is where that structured output that I am passing in my list to-dos tool call that is tied to my widget. This structured content is going to be passed as part of that tool output. So let's quickly walk through my JavaScript here. I'm defining my to-dos and I am seeing if there is any widget state already available. I've included a bunch of console logs in this just so I can see if something goes wrong in the web console. It's helpful to kind of see how things are working, I find. I have this render to-dos function. I'm gonna actually skip this for now and come back to it. And I'm gonna skip my add form. I think the interesting things are down here at the bottom. So there is this event listener on an OpenAI set globals. This is gonna give me some information like the theme. Max height isn't quite working right for me. I always get undefined. This is, I believe, how it's defined in OpenAI's docs, but I'm always getting this value back as undefined. So I think that has to do with my funky scroll bar. I'm logging it out just so that I'm aware of when this might change, but it could be something I'm doing as well. Once again, this is all pretty fresh. If you know what is wrong with my max height, let me know in the comments. So this is mostly console logs, but this is going to be called as soon as these globals are set. And this is when I'm going to go ahead and load up my tool output or my widget state. So if there is widget state, great. If there's tool output, I'll use that instead. Maybe this ordering should be reversed. I'm just going to leave it like this. And then I'm going to call my render to-dos function to go ahead and actually draw things. So let's walk through render to-dos right now. All I'm doing, I'm dynamically creating for each of my to-dos, whatever state it's in right now, whether it's based on my widget state or my tool call. In fact, I'm gonna get rid of the widget state here because we are setting it to widget state initially. I'm gonna wanna index just on the structured output coming in. So I'm just gonna leave it as this for now. What we're doing, whatever to-dos we have, if we have any, going through dynamically creating items for my widget. And then we are adding an event listener for a click on our list items. And what we do on a click is I am being optimistic. So I'm setting it as complete, and then I am going to re-render my to-dos. I'm storing this change in my widget state. So this is marking a to-do as completed. I am passing that to my widget state via my window here. printing some things to the console. And then this is where I'm actually making my tool call. Going window.openai.callTool, calling my complete to do. This matches the name of complete to do here when I registered my tool call with my MCP server. And then I am just passing in the ID of my to-do. So that's when I click on my to-do, I am going to be able to mark it as complete. My MCP server will mark it as complete in my database, and it'll optimistically update my widget here. And finally, we're adding our items to that list. The other thing is our add form. We've got our form, we're just adding submit handler, and it works very similar. We're just grabbing the input from our form. If there is some kind of input, I'm doing something very similar. This time, I'm kicking off my to-do call right away. I'm not optimistically updating my widget. I am getting this response, and this response will contain my structured content, which contains my actual to-do item. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and update my in-memory to-dos list here. Updating my widget state once again, and finally re-rendering my to-dos. So that's all there is to it. Let's go ahead and try this out. So what I'm actually gonna do is, because I made a whole bunch of changes to my MCP server and my widget, I'm gonna go to my to-do list. I'm gonna refresh it. I should see, once it is refreshed, my updated actions here. There we go. So it's updated. I see my add to do, complete to do, and list to do's action. I can see the output template here on list to do's, and everything is widget accessible. So now, I guess I can do it in the same chat. Let's ask, can you show me my to-do list? And I'm hoping that it finds my tool. And once again, we've got this lovely scroll bar. I'm going to allow it for this conversation, but there we go. We have a to-do list. My list of shame has been returned. It's empty. So let's add something. Let's go wash car. This is a little delayed right now. Once again, I'm making that tool call. I'm not optimistically updating my UI. So I'm actually going back to the server, getting the response, and then displaying it. But you see, my wash car item is here. Let's go wash hair. I didn't spell that right. I don't know why everything has to do with washing, but I guess that is the mode I'm in. Wash hair isn't a thing, at least as far as I know. I'm gonna mark it as completed. So we are optimistically updating that widget and then making the tool call. And this is my to-do list. So if I refresh, we are using that widget state. So I'm hoping that, yeah, look at that. My to-do list is still in its current happy state. As I am making these tool calls, because I'm using Gadget API, I can also see that things are being updated here in my Gadget database. So that was a very quick end-to-end build of a to-do list embedded here in a ChatGPT iframe. A forkable link to this entire app is available in the video description. If you have any questions about what we're doing here, check out our developer Discord. Once again, a link in the description. We're also going to be making updates to this as we learn more. This is like 2 days old, less than 2 days old. I'm not super experienced with the API at this point, and we're going to be building additional tooling, like I mentioned before, to include a Vite plugin so you can build in React. And I think we're going to be moving some of the auth stuff maybe under the hood, so you don't actually need to see or deal with it. Similar to Gadget's built-in Shopify connection or BigCommerce connection. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, let me know in our Discord or in the comments. Now, one more thing I do want to mention is deploying to production. I'm not going to do it right now, but because you're building on live infrastructure on the internet, deploying, you can click a button. You can also use our CLI tool to build out a CI/CD process and then deploy when everything passes. All you could do is go ahead and deploy. This gives you a production environment you'd have your production app URL. So you could just go ahead and create a separate app here in ChatGPT to test it out. I'm assuming they're going to have some sort of app store experience in the future, but because that doesn't exist, you can just go ahead, set up a different app connection. It would look the exact same as this, except it wouldn't have your -- development environment selector. Just wanted to add that in.